Internet hotline.
Yeah, hi, can I speak to Colonel McGovern?
Oh, she's not in this building.
Okay, well, who's the highest ranking person there?
Oh, yeah. Can I ask who's calling and what is regarding what?
No, I'd like to know first who is the highest ranking person in your office.
Okay, that will be my, right now, Trooper Iguaniki. Would you like to talk to him?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay, hold on a second, okay?
Thanks.
Trooper Iwaniki speaking.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
It's Trooper Iwaniki. What's your name?
Dan Kelly. Pyrowaniki? How do you spell that?
It's Trooper Iwaniki.
Oh, Iwaniki.
Yes.
Okay, how do you spell Iwaniki?
I-W-A-N-I-C-K-I.
Okay. I received a letter in the mail saying that you guys want a DNA sample from me, and I don't understand as to why.
Okay. Up in the computer system. There's been an automated batch of letters that have gone out, so I just need to get some input. You said your name was Dan Kelly?
That's correct. EY.
EY, okay. And Dan?
Mm-hmm. Daniel.
Okay. And your date of birth?
9/27/75.
Okay. I assume you've been to Massachusetts before?
I grew up in Massachusetts. I lived there till I was 17, and I joined the Navy.
Okay. Have you ever done any time in Massachusetts prisons?
Not really prison, but I've gone to jail. I got harassed a bunch of times after I published against the Congress. I accused them of mass murder for subsidizing tobacco that's being grown in plutonium-laden fertilizer. They make the fertilizer radioactive, and then they grow tobacco in it. And after I made that publishing effort to the internet about a decade ago, I started getting regularly pulled over. Then I started being assaulted by police on a regular basis. Then I couldn't get a jury trial for anything. And, I don't know, so it cascaded to a series of harassments that debilitated me, that I'm no longer able to work.
Yeah, that wouldn't be related to the offense that you would be referred over to us on. Have you ever been to Boston District Court?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it looks like your information was referred from Boston District Court.
Okay, what on?
I actually can't talk to you about that because, I mean, as you know, I don't know, who you are, and we're just talking over the phone. I can't give out people's criminal information.
Okay, so you have divulged to me so far that it is in relation to something out of Boston District Court.
And I can give you a time frame. It looks like it's in 2004?
2004. Okay, this letter that I received, it stated that it was your intention to kidnap me and to take me across state lines for something that apparently occurred 7 years ago or more, 8 years ago now. I guarantee you that it was just a gross criminal harassment on the part of the police that did this to me. But, I don't know, they have sent me this letter stating that it is their intention to kidnap me and to bring me across state lines, to bring me away from my 11 kittens that require food daily, and to then subject me to 6 months imprisonment for absolutely nothing. I haven't harmed anybody. You know, that's the only thing that somebody can be arrested for, is if they harm somebody. You know, that makes it makes valid law that when people harm people, that then, you know, they be put in jail. But, you know, there's not even the accusation that I've harmed anybody, yet I've received this notice that you guys have this intent to kidnap me, to take me 400 miles away from my home, and to subject me to imprisonment for 6 months. Can you speak to that, as to why it is that, you know, this obviously brutal criminality is being enacted against me?
First of all, I don't think it's obvious, brutal, criminal, whatever you said. It's just complying with the law. You're required to provide a DNA sample?
It's not a law, really. It's statute. When the government writes law, supposed law, that they have not gotten any type of wide social agreement to, it's called statute. It's not law. What makes something law is that it's enforceable and that the people concur with the law that has been written. Like the Constitution, that's law. There's like 200 plus years of people accepting and agreeing to abide by the Constitution. But, you know, this, attempt to breach my privacy rights, there's absolutely nothing, legal or lawful about this. You know, you guys are threatening to kidnap me, and you're doing this without my having harmed anybody.
Again, if you want to call it a statute, then you're not in compliance with the statute.
Okay, so you agree that it is a statute, that it is not a law. Now, there's also this disinformation that has been placed on here. Do you have record there of when I first refused to provide this DNA sample?
All I know is you've been referred from the court that you haven't complied with. If you call it a statute, we'll call it a statute. You haven't complied with it, which is a violation of the statute, if you want to call it a statute.
Okay. Now, what I'm asking is, do you have on record there when it is that I refused to provide this DNA sample?
Well, I can tell you that it's your obligation to provide this DNA sample upon your conviction. In offense.
When was that law written?
Provide the sample.
Or if you want to call it a statute, let's call it a statute. When was that statute written?
I believe it's actually referred to in your letter. It's called Chapter 22E.
Yeah, I don't know when that was written.
It was originally written in 1997 and then revised in 2004.
2004, so the very same year that apparently there was this conviction of me is when this chapter was updated, and they actually did not make any request that I provide them a sample, a DNA sample. That's something. That's what it is that I'm making issue about right now. Is that it states in this letter that I have refused to provide a DNA sample. I've done no such thing. You guys are threatening to kidnap me, saying that I refuse to provide a DNA sample, when I never refused to provide a DNA sample. Nobody asked me to provide a DNA sample. This is the first that I'm hearing of this, that you guys would like a DNA sample from me.
Okay, then we're asking you to provide a DNA sample.
Oh, okay, so now you're going to ask me, after you've already sent me this bullshit, that, you know, you accuse me of something that I didn't do. You say you're gonna kidnap me, take me across state lines, and imprison me for 6 months when I've hurt nobody.
Okay.
And that sounds sane and sensible to you. Is that right?
I'm not sure what your issue is.
You're not sure what my issue is? Is that
notice
is that you guys have lied to me. You lied to me in this letter.
Wait.
You said that I refused to provide a DNA sample in this letter. That's what it says.
Okay.
Who refuses to provide such DNA sample will be subject to punishment. You guys are threatening to kidnap me and to imprison me for 6 months, saying because I refused to provide a DNA sample, but I was never asked for a DNA sample.
Well, I guess your attorney should have advised you of that when you pled out to whatever charge you're pled out to. It's not the Commonwealth's responsibility to advise you. It would be your attorney's responsibility.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Your representative.
You know, I think kind of obviously, you know, you guys haven't sent me this letter. It is your responsibility. Why would you even bother sending me this letter if it's not your responsibility?
The letter is to say that you haven't complied with the statute, if you want to call it a statute. It's giving you an ample opportunity to comply with it. That's what the letter is.
Do you know that you can be rounded up if you refuse to accept the vaccination living in Massachusetts? That's why I moved out of Massachusetts, because the state government, they passed a statute which says that if you guys refuse to accept a mercury-tainted vaccination, that you refuse to have mercury injected into your bloodstream, that you can be then forcefully detained against your will. Are you aware of that?
I have nothing to do with vaccinations. This has nothing.
Well, it does have something to do with you, because you live there where this has been made supposed law, which is statute really, but you know, unless somebody challenges it, then someday, presumably when there's some pandemic going on, that you're going to get rounded up and you're going to get either forcefully vaccinated or you're going to be detained against your will in some type of concentration camp where there's no, I don't know, you have no access to legal mechanisms. You know, I'm sure that you'll just accept the injection, the mercury injection. That's what you'd do, right? If they told you you had to take a vaccination, you would just take it?
Well, first of all, you're off subject. We're not talking about mercury vaccinations here. We're talking about DNA, and again, you're required to provide a DNA sample.
Says you. Says you in the Massachusetts State Legislature, who have absolutely no, you have no bearing on me. You know, are you guys really going to come 400 miles to extradite me for something that wasn't even a crime? I didn't harm anybody. You can't give me a yes or no?
Why? Again, I'm advising you that you're required to provide a DNA sample. If you choose to do it, that's your option. It's your legal.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know. This letter, it doesn't really say what the ramifications are going to be. It says what you guys are going to try to do to me.
Okay, and I would guess that's the result of the statute.
No, it's not the result of the statute. What the result of the statute is it will be a lot messier than, you know, what it is that you guys, you know, state here, like, oh, it's going to be so easy to just pick you up and, you know, bring you in and charge you $1,000 and send you to jail when you harmed nobody. But, you know, you took an oath to uphold the Constitution, correct?
I guess so.
Okay. Do you recognize this phrase from the Constitution, a person's right, God-given right, to pursue happiness?
Okay.
Okay, you do. You recognize that phrase.
I'm just going by what you said. I'm not quoting parts of the Constitution.
You don't even know the Constitution.
Your words, not mine.
You took an oath to the Constitution. You don't recognize that the Constitution states every American's right to pursue happiness.
Right. Just really,
okay. Do you think that it's my pursuit of happiness that without having harmed anybody, I be imprisoned for 6 months?
That would be your choice to comply with the statute, if you call it a statute, or not.
No, that's, this has, I don't know, my right to pursue happiness, I don't know, your attempt to imprison me when I have not harmed anybody would be an assault against my right to pursue happiness. Do you not recognize that?
Again, this is your choice. You can make the choice. You do not have to come to Massachusetts to provide a DNA sample. You can provide it in your state. You can make arrangements and have your own private doctor do it. So, it's up to you. You can choose to do it or choose not to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about this option, that I defeat this in court? That I hire a lawyer to argue against this gross I don't know, infringement upon my privacy?
I think that's your choice.
Okay, that is my choice. And do you think that that's a sensible choice for me to do, or do you think that it's a crapshoot and I'll probably just waste my money on the lawyer?
I have no opinion either way. It's your choice.
Do you recognize how grossly criminal lawyers are? Have you ever looked for lawyer jokes online?
No, I haven't.
Like, you could scroll through like 100 pages on Google of results for lawyer jokes, and you would not come to the end of all the lawyer jokes joking about how all the lawyers are corrupt.
Well, I think everyone has their own opinions about things. You seem to have your opinion about things.
Yeah. I also have a study of the present geopolitical situation from the perspective of a genius. I have a more than 140 IQ. And so when I read the news and when I read what's going on with the political system, I recognize that you and all your cronies are grossly corrupt, that you're not enacting law, you're trying to profiteer off of statute. Can I ask what, give me like, in the decade, what your salary is, that you make like $40,000, $50,000 per year, something like that? Is that about right?
First of all, I would say what I make has no relevance whatsoever.
Oh, sure it does, because you are biased to go along with this gross criminality by the fact that you're being paid $50,000 a year to go along with this gross criminality. You know what that makes you? It makes you a crime-profiting slime lord. It makes you detestable. That when I present to the jury trial, that you guys are willing to kidnap me, for something that I did absolutely nothing to harm anybody, and you guys are going to attempt to kidnap me. If you guys can wrangle up some what would it be? It would be like some political backing to abduct me from my home in a neighboring state.
Again, you have the option to provide a DNA sample in your own state, so you wouldn't even have to come to Massachusetts.
Yeah. Why should I provide a DNA sample? Why should I allow you guys to breach my privacy?
Because it's required by the 22E statute that we've discussed.
For this thing that happened 8 years ago that nobody ever told me anything about having to provide a DNA sample.
Well, I guess your counsel should have advised you, but if you seem like you're smart enough and knowledgeable in the law, which it seems like...
that's not how these things work, is that when they're going to roll out a program like this, where it's a gross criminality, that the state is going to abuse people, is going to abuse their privacy rights and stuff like that, they don't immediately distribute the information on what they're doing to all of the lawyers and start having them ask for the DNA and all that. What they do is they let the statute exist under the, under this, or behind the scenes, without pushing it in everybody's face. They let it exist for a long time until, they're able to wrangle a few people in by it, and breach a few people's privacy rights. And then after they have a hold like that, then they begin to unleash it on everybody that they can nab with their, criminal aggression against people's rights, human rights, God-given rights, constitutional rights, privacy rights, all this stuff that, that's what they do is, first they released a little test run of it, and they don't push it so hard, and so that's probably why in 2004, when they were writing this into, when they were writing this statute, they might not have, presented this to me right then, and you say that, now there's a mass mailer going on, that they're trying to get a bunch of people all at the same time to submit to this breach of their privacy rights. Is that correct?
I would say that computerization is allowing us to notify more individuals that are required to provide a DNA sample.
Okay, so just like I said, all of a sudden, they're sending out these letters left and right, and they think that everybody's going to comply with this, that, or, that they're going to boost the profits of the prison industry, that they're going to be able to wrangle the Massachusetts taxpayer out of some more money to put people in jail on victimless crime, as they're creating by statute.
I guess that's your opinion, right?
Maybe it's my opinion, maybe it's really what's going on.
Again, that would be your opinion.
Okay, well, could you send me my whole file, whatever it is that, enacted that this letter be sent to me? Could you send me the whole thing? Send me, like, whatever it is that you guys think that, I don't know, whatever violation of the law you guys claim was worth, my having to submit DNA to you guys.
I think everything is spelled out in that letter for you.
It's not, though. I don't know what this is in regard to. You say some incident that occurred in 2004, but I don't recognize what that is.
Right, but I can't send you anything because I don't know who you are.
Right, but you guys have my address on record there, and it's an accurate address, and you guys know that I live here, so you can definitely send it to me. So, if you're not going to do that, because, you're going to, dance around the situation and try to not reveal to me more information, we're just going to spell out that you guys are corrupt, then I would hope that you are going to refer this to your supervisor and request of him, and provide me his name or her name, that, make the request that I be sent the whole file as to why it is that, that I'm being threatened with kidnapping.
To provide the sample. It's your responsibility to have done it. You didn't do it. So that's what that letter says. It's up to you if you choose to do it.
Who's your supervisor?
Choose to do it. You have a choice to come to Massachusetts and do it, or you have a choice to have it done in your state.
That's your supervisor's name? You have a choice to come to Massachusetts?
Look, those are your choices. Are you going to comply or not?
Who is your supervisor?
My supervisor?
Yeah. Who do you answer to? I understand that there's a chain of command. I've been in the Navy. I know that you're not the top ding-a-ling on Earth. You are not the emperor. So let's hear this. Who is your supervisor?
Let's see. We'll say it's Sergeant Smith.
Sergeant Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's Sergeant Smith's contact information?
Well, I can transfer you to his line.
No, I'd like to have his contact information, so, I'm able to get back directly to him, so I don't have to call in and go through you again.
Called in off that paper.
Right, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to call in and talk to some receptionist, to talk to you, to talk to somebody else.
Information.
What's that?
That's his contact information.
That I have to call through 3 people in order to get in touch with Sergeant Smith.
Again, that's his contact information.
Well, that doesn't make a bunch of sense to me. It doesn't make sense that in order to get in touch with one person, I have to call in and talk to 3 people. That I have to call in and talk to 3 people in order to get in touch with one Sergeant Smith.
I guess so. Maybe if you call in and ask for Sergeant Smith, they'll connect you right to Sergeant Smith.
Oh, okay, so you're going to give me the 800 number that's on the sheet for the contact information of Sergeant Smith.
Correct.
Okay, what was your rank again?
It's Trooper.
Trooper?
Correct.
Go ahead.
That's the rank.
Trooper is a rank? What is that, like the lowest rank? Is that below sergeant, obviously?
It is below sergeant, yeah.
What's the lowest rank in the scheme there?
I believe it would be trainee.
Trainee. Okay, and how far above trainee is trooper? How many levels?
At least 1 or 2 levels, depending on what rank.
Have you ever put your baton in a man's ass crack?
I have not.
You haven't? Oh, okay.
I have not.
That's good. It happened to me. A state pig in Massachusetts, he put his baton in my ass crack after he yelled baton wedgie.
Okay.
You have no opinion on that?
I have no opinion on that.
Do you think that that was harassment?
Again, I have no opinion of that. But you're calling to talk about DNA. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trapping you in all kinds of different ways that you're criminal. You know, you know, someday when your criminality catches up with you, that you'll recognize, you know, you deserve exactly what happened to you.
Again, that's your opinion. You have a choice to provide DNA or not provide DNA.
Oh, okay.
No choice.
Well, why don't you give me Sergeant Smith?
Okay, I'll transfer you over. Hold on.
Please leave a voice message for
Sergeant Bob Smith.
At the tone, please record your message. When you are finished recording, hang up or press 1 for more options.
Sergeant Smith, this is Daniel Kelly. I received a notice from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of State Police requesting that I provide a DNA sample. Now, I was told that there was an incident in 2004. I wasn't involved in any type of state police incident since 2001, and that incident was harassment, that I was baton wedgied. I literally had a state policeman stick a baton in my ass crack and yell baton wedgie. That was after a bunch of his buddies beat me, and that was after I had to run away from a routine traffic stop that one of the state cops had pulled out a baton and began to beat me. There was another cop there who pulled me over, a Framingham cop that he pulled me over without being able to gauge my speed accurately, and I don't know, he was pulling me over for speeding, but I don't know, the state cop showed up and he turned it into a disaster. He tried to thieve my license, then he beat me with a baton, then I ran away from the situation, and when they found me on the side of the road, one of the state cops put a baton in my ass crack and really literally yelled baton wedgie. This was in the midst of my receiving a beating while laying face down with my hands on my back by a bunch of state cops. Anyhow, you know, I haven't had any interaction with the state police apart from that, you know, that and other routine traffic stops, and so I don't know what this is in reference to. That I've received this letter that says that you guys, it is your intention to kidnap me, to take me 400 miles away from my home where I have 11 cats to feed daily, and that it's your intention to imprison me for 6 months with my not having injured anybody. There's not even any claim of my having injured anybody, yet you guys are saying that you're gonna imprison me for 6 months. So, you know, this does not mesh with legality. This is not law that you guys are sending to me here. It is statute, and it will be defeated in court when it is that I have to go to court on this. But, you know, in preparation for court, I need for you to send me the whole file. I need to know everything it is that's going on with this. Why it is that I am receiving this threat of kidnapping by the Massachusetts State Police. And I don't know, they say here, I'll just read the whole message to you. Records of the Massachusetts State Police Code as Collection and Investigative Unit indicate that you are in violation of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 22E, Section 11, which states, any person required to provide a DNA sample pursuant to this chapter and who refuses to provide such DNA sample shall be subject to punishment by a fine of not more than $1,000 or imprisonment in a jail or house of correction for not more than 6 months or both. Now, it says refusal, that if the person refuses. Now, that doesn't even apply to this situation, because I have never refused to provide my DNA. I wasn't aware that anybody was seeking my DNA until this letter showed up to my house earlier today. So, you know, right off the start, you guys are lying in this letter, saying that I refused to provide DNA when I was never asked for my DNA. You know, so, you know, my initial reaction to this is that, you know, this is an egregious crime that you guys are enacting against me, and you're starting, you know, with this attempted breach of my privacy rights by threatening me and by lying. I have never refused, yet it says the reason that somebody might be subjected to the fine and imprisonment is because of their refusal. I have never refused, and you say in this letter that I am in violation because of my refusal, but I have never refused. So, you know, this whole thing is predicated on so much nonsense that I am going to easily slay this case in court. So I would beg you guys to, you know, to do smarter than to try to drag me into court on, you know, what it is that I didn't injure anybody, and you guys are grossly trying to abuse my privacy rights. And what this is going to turn into, it's going to turn into exposure of the Massachusetts State Police for being grossly criminal, for baton wedging people, and for generally harassing political dissidents, which is, that's my scenario, or that's my case. That's what it is that.
Your message.